Hey everyone, welcome back to JEP, Joy English Podcast. I'm Jamie.
And I'm Alex. Jamie, do you ever get stuck in your own head so much that it feels like you're arguing with yourself all day?
Oh, all the time. My brain's like a non-stop news channel, broadcasting every possible scenario, especially the worst ones.
Same. I've been trying to work on this project for weeks, but every time I sit down to actually do it, I spiral. What if it's not good enough? What if people don't like it? What if I mess up?
Sounds like the greatest hits of overthinking. I know those all too well. But can I ask you something?
Sure.
When you first started that project, really started, what did your gut say?
Honestly, that it felt right. Like I was excited. I had a clear idea. I felt confident. Briefly.
Exactly. That's the version of you that knew. Before fear, before doubt, before the mental gymnastics. That's the version you need to trust more.
But that's the hard part, right? I want to trust myself, but then the what-ifs show up, and they're loud. They scream, "You're not ready," or "You need to plan more," or "You're going to regret this."
Yeah, overthinking is sneaky like that. It disguises itself as being careful or being prepared, but it's really just fear wrapped in logic.
Wow, that hit hard.
I've been there too. Sometimes I think overthinking is just our mind trying to protect us, but it forgets that growth often requires discomfort, and not every risk leads to disaster.
So today, we're diving into something we all do, often without even realizing it: overthinking. It drains our energy, clouds our decisions, and drowns out the one voice we should be tuning into the most, our own.
That's right. This episode is about the 12 most effective ways to stop overthinking, and even more importantly, how to truly listen to yourself again.
Because here's the truth. Your intuition, your inner wisdom, it's always speaking. The problem is, overthinking turns up the volume on everything else.
So let's turn down the noise and turn inward. Ready?
1. Recognize when you're overthinking. The first step to stopping overthinking is awareness. You can't fix what you don't notice.
Exactly. Realizing your brain's running in circles for no real reason.
For me, it's the details. I'll rewrite the same email 5 times, tweaking every word to make it perfect.
For me, it's replaying a conversation over and over, wondering if I said something wrong.
It's like trying to control something that's already done.
The more I try to fix it in my head, the worse I feel.
Same, but just saying, "I'm overthinking right now," helps me pause.
That moment of awareness creates space to breathe.
And in that space, I start to hear a softer, calmer voice.
A quiet voice that says, "You're okay. You don't have to fix this."
It's funny how easy it is to ignore that voice when your head is so loud.
Overthinking is loud, fast, and panicky.
But your inner voice? Patient and calm. It doesn't rush you.
You just have to give it room to speak and actually listen when it does.
It usually says exactly what I need to hear.
Sometimes it just says, breathe. Let it be.
So next time the spiral starts, I'll pause and listen.
Because that inner voice, it truly knows.
2. Shift from what if to what is.
Overthinking loves what-if questions.
What if I mess up? What if they don't like it? What if I made the wrong choice?
It sounds like problem solving, but it's really fear in disguise, spinning you in doubt instead of forward.
That's why I shift to asking, what is true right now?
I love that. It brings you back to the present and what you actually know, not the stories your mind makes up.
Focusing on what's real stops feeding the fear.
And that's when your inner voice can finally be heard, calmer, honest, not trying to scare you, but gently guiding.
Listening to it moves you from anxiety to clarity, from spiraling to steady.
So next time you hear, what if, pause and ask, what's true right now?
3. Challenge negative thoughts.
Our minds can be harsh, whispering things like, you're not ready, or you always mess up.
That inner critic can be relentless.
But the first step is questioning those thoughts. Is this really true? Is it helpful to believe this right now?
Look for evidence. What facts support that idea?
Just because the critic shouts doesn't mean it's right. Often, it's just fear or old habits.
Your true voice is calmer, wiser, kinder. It doesn't judge or rush you.
It speaks gently and patiently. The challenge is recognizing it amid the noise.
Instead of believing harsh thoughts, pause and listen for that kinder tone inside.
The more you tune in, the easier it is to trust your inner wisdom.
And over time, that voice becomes your guide, not your fear. 4. Take imperfect action.
Overthinking has this way of freezing us in place, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I used to get stuck trying to make everything perfect before moving forward.
But the truth is, the antidote to that freeze is action. Any action, even if it's messy.
I remember spending weeks tweaking my website, scared to launch because it wasn't flawless.
When you finally act, it breaks the cycle of doubt that keeps looping in your mind.
Exactly. The day I hit publish felt like a huge weight lifted off my shoulders.
Action pulls you out of your head and into the present moment, where clarity can grow.
And every step forward says to your inner self, I trust you. Let's go.
It's that trust that builds confidence over time, helping silence the doubts bit by bit.
So instead of waiting for the perfect moment, we just need to start moving, even if imperfect.
Yes, because movement itself is a cure for overthinking and hesitation.
The more we act, the less power our fears have over us.
And the clearer our inner voice becomes when we're no longer stuck in our heads.
Listening to that voice leads us to better decisions than any amount of worry ever could.
So the real question is, what's one small action we can take right now?
For me, it's just sending that email I've been avoiding.
And for me, it's finally starting that side project I've dreamed about.
Perfect. That's how we get out of our own way, one step at a time.
Exactly. Action lets your real self lead the way.
5. Set a time limit for decisions.
Overthinking can really freeze you in place, don't you think?
Definitely. It feels like your mind just won't stop spinning with all the what-ifs.
We found that taking even small steps helps break that cycle.
Even if the action is messy or imperfect, right?
Exactly. Waiting for perfect just keeps you stuck forever.
When you act, it's like telling your brain, enough with the doubts.
Yeah, it quiets that endless mental chatter.
For me, action builds trust in myself, like a muscle you strengthen.
The more I move, the easier it gets to listen to my true voice.
I can relate. I spent weeks trying to perfect my website before launching.
How did it feel when you finally hit publish?
So freeing, even with all the imperfections.
That moment of action really breaks free from fear and doubt.
Every step forward says, I trust you.
Action isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up.
It's about learning and growing as you go.
And the more I act, the quieter my overthinking becomes.
Eventually, that's when your inner voice gets loud enough to guide you.
Exactly. Taking action helps your true self lead the way.
So starting, even messy, is better than waiting for perfect.
6. Write it out. Brain dump.
Ever feel like your brain has 42 tabs open all at once?
Totally. It's like every thought is shouting to be heard, but none of them really stick.
Yeah, it's exhausting trying to juggle all those ideas and worries at the same time.
That's why I turn to writing. Putting it all down on paper clears the clutter inside.
We found that once you see the mess outside your head, it's easier to start sorting through it.
Exactly. Writing helps you untangle the worries from what's really true.
And underneath all that noise, there's that quiet voice, your real self, waiting to be heard.
It's always there. We just have to slow down enough to listen to it.
7. Practice mindfulness or meditation.
Meditation isn't about having no thoughts at all.
Right, it's about noticing those thoughts without getting tangled in them.
Exactly. When you meditate, you create a little space between you and your mind's chatter.
That space is where you start to separate from the noise and the overwhelm.
And in that stillness, something else becomes clearer, the real you.
That quiet voice inside, soft but steady, begins to rise above the mental static.
I love that idea. That voice was never actually gone.
It was just buried beneath layers of worry, doubt, and constant thinking.
Meditation is like a gentle reminder to yourself, hey, I'm still here.
It helps you remember who you are beyond your thoughts and fears.
At first, sitting quietly can feel uncomfortable or even frustrating.
But with practice, that discomfort fades and calm takes its place.
It's like tuning an old radio. Sometimes there's static, but if you keep adjusting, the music comes through.
And that music is your true self, clear and undistorted.
Once you tap into that, it becomes easier to trust your intuition.
Because your intuition speaks softly, it requires stillness to be heard.
The busier your mind, the harder it is to listen.
So meditation isn't about stopping thoughts, it's about changing your relationship with them.
And that change is powerful. It leads to more clarity, peace, and self-awareness.
8. Breathe deeply.
When you're overthinking, your body really feels it. Tight shoulders, shallow breath, a heavy chest.
Exactly. Our body reacts before our mind even fully realizes what's happening.
That's why focusing on your breath is so powerful. It's like a reset button for your nervous system.
One technique I like is box breathing. Breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, and hold again for 4.
Box breathing helps slow your heart rate and calm those racing thoughts.
With each controlled breath, the tension in your body starts to ease.
And when your body relaxes, your mind follows. The panic softens like a fading storm.
That's when your body whispers to you, "We're safe now."
Hearing that message is key. It lets your brain know it can stop sounding alarms.
And once you feel safe, the noise of overthinking quiets down.
You begin to reconnect with your inner wisdom, the voice that's been there all along.
It's like tuning in to a clearer channel, your true self, calm and steady.
Breathing mindfully gives you access to that place anytime you need it.
No matter how overwhelmed you feel, your breath is a tool you always have.
Even a few deep breaths can break the cycle of spiraling thoughts.
That simple act brings you back to the present moment, grounding you.
And in the present, clarity and calm can grow.
It's amazing how something so basic can be so transformative.
So next time you're stuck in overthinking, start with your breath.
Trust me, your body and mind will thank you.
9. Limit information intake. We call it research, but often it's just anxiety wearing a fancy disguise.
Yeah, too much input can overload your mind, making it impossible to hear your own thoughts.
When you keep gathering information, you might feel like you're making progress, but really, you're stuck in a loop.
Exactly. It's like trying to fill a bucket that already has a hole. The more you pour in, the more you lose focus.
So the first step is to ask yourself, have I heard enough to decide?
If the answer is yes, it's time to pause, step back, and tune in to your inner voice.
Because the most important answers aren't always out there in the data or advice.
Sometimes the answer is inside you, your gut feeling, your quiet knowing.
It takes courage to trust yourself when the noise outside is so loud.
But that's the only way to move forward with clarity and confidence.
When you listen in, you start noticing what really matters to you beyond what others say.
And that clarity cuts through the overwhelm, making decisions feel less scary.
Over-researching can be a way to avoid making a choice because it feels safer.
But avoiding decisions only prolongs the anxiety and indecision.
The breakthrough comes when you say, enough, I trust myself to choose.
Then your mind settles, and your true voice grows louder than the noise.
It's not about having all the answers, it's about trusting the answers you do have.
And sometimes that trust is the most powerful decision of all.
10. Trust your intuition more. That gut feeling, it's not just some random reaction, it's actually a form of intelligence.
Right. Your intuition is like an inner compass guiding you, often through subtle nudges or a deep sense of knowing.
But we tend to override it with logic, fear, or trying to please others. That's when it gets drowned out.
Yeah, the noise of our busy minds can easily silence that quiet inner voice.
The key is learning to get quiet enough inside to hear it again.
What if, instead of doubting that feeling, you chose to trust it?
Trust doesn't mean blindly following, but giving your intuition space to speak.
Sometimes that voice comes as peace rather than excitement, a calm certainty.
It's like your soul whispering what your mind can't yet explain.
The challenge is recognizing that whisper amid all the external chaos.
Meditation or just a moment of silence can help you tune into those signals.
When you listen, your intuition often points you toward what truly aligns with your values.
Ignoring it can lead to second-guessing and feeling off balance.
But embracing it brings a kind of confidence that logic alone can't provide.
It's a subtle power, a guide that's always there waiting for you to pay attention.
So maybe the real work is less about figuring out everything and more about trusting yourself.
Exactly. Your gut is an ally, not an obstacle.
And when you start listening, decisions become less stressful and more clear.
That's when you stop battling your mind and start partnering with your heart.
11. Replace why with how.
Why did this happen? Why do I always mess things up? Sound familiar?
Absolutely. Asking why often keeps us stuck in the same place, circling around blame or regret.
Right. It traps you in the past instead of helping you move forward.
Switching to how questions changes everything. It opens the door to action.
Like asking, how can I respond better? How can I learn from this?
Exactly. Those how questions are your inner voice asking for a way out.
It's like giving yourself permission to grow instead of getting stuck in the blame game.
Hearing that voice, honoring it, that's where real change begins.
When you focus on how, you take back your power.
You stop being a victim of circumstances and start being an active player in your life.
And that makes all the difference, because growth is a choice.
It's the difference between spiraling and rising.
So next time you catch yourself asking why, try flipping the question.
Ask how instead. It's the path to clarity and action.
Your mind and heart will thank you for it.
12. Talk to someone.
Sometimes we just need to say it out loud.
When you speak your thoughts, you take away their power over you.
It's like turning a noisy storm inside your head into something you can actually face.
And when you say it out loud to someone, a friend, a therapist, or a coach, they can reflect your truth back to you.
That reflection helps you see things more clearly without the distortion of fear or doubt.
But even more importantly, you hear yourself. You reconnect with that part of you that already knows what to do.
Sometimes the act of voicing your worries or hopes is the first step toward healing.
It breaks the cycle of hiding and overthinking.
You realize you're not alone with those thoughts. They exist outside your mind now.
And once they're out in the open, you can respond to them with kindness instead of judgment.
That's when true self-awareness begins.
You start to trust your own voice again, which is so powerful.
Because your voice holds your truth, your courage, and your wisdom.
So don't keep it bottled up. Speak your mind. It's freeing.
And listen closely. Your own words can be your greatest guide. So those are our 12 ways. Not rules, just invitations to slow down, to come back to yourself.
Let's recap. 1. Recognize overthinking. 2. Shift to what is. 3. Challenge negative thoughts. 4. Take imperfect action. 5. Set time limits. 6. Brain dump. 7. Practice mindfulness. 8. Breathe deeply. 9. Limit information. 10. Trust intuition. 11. Swap why for how.
And through all of it, remember, the voice you're trying to hear isn't outside you, it's within.
That voice? It's calm. It's wise. It's you.
Overthinking is loud, but you can choose quiet, and in the quiet, listen to yourself.
You already know what to do.
Thanks for joining us. Until next time, stay kind to yourself.
And keep listening within.